That girl Leisha's chirpy today. Hello and welcome to your bumper Friday edition of Loose Women. Joining me, Kay Adams, on this very good Friday are Sinatra Sarkar. She's back for more. Guest Loose Women, Lady Leisha, and Nadia Thawala. They're coming up with news that Harry and Meghan have flown into the UK for a secret meeting with the Queen. We're asking, should you cherish visits with your relatives more as they get older? And at 1:15...
And reigning British quiz champion, folks, it is the Cinnamon, Paul Sinha.
Hello, Nathan.
Hello.
Hello, Bradley. If you're wondering, EasyJet's a budget airline that us normal people use.
Chaser Paul Sinha will be joining us to mark Parkinson's Awareness Week and sharing an update on his own diagnosis with it 4 years ago. There he is, my nemesis, that man. And it's the hot new dating show, The Ultimatum, Marry or Move On. But is the idea of marriage, especially amongst the younger generation, really as outdated as we think? No, it's the start of the bank holiday weekend, of course. And according to all the reports, the airports are jammed, everywhere is jammed. It's going to be absolutely crazy. Everyone's going on holidays. But we just came back.
Well, I was just going to say, you guys have done the pre-Easter holiday.
Pre-Easter.
But it was still scary. There was lots of whipping up of fear about how horrendous the airport was going to be. My experience only of Gatwick was I got there and I've never seen queues like it. I thought, oh, well, I'm obviously not going to get to Marbella for margaritas or whatever time it was. But it was so efficient. Gatwick, you were amazing.
Oh, that's
absolutely
good to hear. We don't want to know about all this. We want to know, did it get messy?
Yes.
Did it get messy?
Well, there was one point in the evening after the first day where Kay was hitting herself over the head with a plastic mineral water bottle and Jane was hitting herself over the head with a frying pan.
I was percussion. It
was
it wasn't just like random
It was very cute, actually, because we just spent all day in the beach bar there. But it was very cute because we were singing and I was filming and I went, percussion. And they both just ran off and came back with these things. Oh, my, how much fun was it?
Oh, she went in the sea.
I swear.
It was freezing. Look at her.
Look at you.
Daredevil. And I was screaming. But I loved it. It was the best swim of my life. After 2.5 years not being abroad, it was amazing.
Do you know what it's like when she rushed in? She just ripped off her dress and then goes into the sea and it's freezing. It's like, come on! And I'm standing going, are you joking? I have to say, though, Jane was looking very perky there. She did not look like that the next morning, did she?
I've seen
heard
a hangover like
this hangover has become quite famous.
Well, I came in and I didn't realise she was suffering terribly.
Right.
And I came in and I was dancing. Can you imagine? We drank exactly the same, except she did have a half beer that I didn't, and that's where she went wrong. I'm sticking to my guns on that. And she literally just went to me, didn't she? Are you kidding me?
Well, we were very annoying, particularly because I felt fine as well because I hadn't drunk as much. And then she said, you know what it is? You'll never get a hangover, Jane, if you drink only tequila and champagne. At that point, I thought she was going to slap you. I really thought, well, this
what
is...
a mantra. Way to live your life.
I never get a hangover, you know. So I don't know when to stop. I don't know if it's a blessing or a curse at this point. But I don't ever get a hangover. It doesn't matter what
I'm
I
going to check
take.
it with you in 5 years' time.
Yeah, honestly.
Well, Jane was going to hate you too. So there you go.
I'll tell you the key to it. She's 33.
Oh, but she's young. Yeah. She's young. Well, I tell you, the other thing, of course, we had a lot of in Marbs was lots of carbs.
I tried to eat as many as I could in the time we were there.
Yeah, we did do a lot of eating. And then, so I got back on Wednesday, and I think I'm late to the party on this, but I met my daughter in London.
Yeah.
We went out for something to eat. And so now, all of the menus at sort of chain restaurants have got the calories on them. And it was such a strange thing for me because this first was raised about a couple of years ago, wasn't it, as an idea. And at that point, I remember thinking, I think that's a really good idea. People should be really aware of the calories and, you know, it helps people work it out. And then, but yeah, I know I'm really annoying. But I sat down with her and she's 19 and it was there. And the only thing that she looked at was the numbers. Didn't look at what the food was, didn't look at, you know, what was nice, what was nutritious. She just looked at the numbers. And then I did the same thing. And I suddenly went, whoa, I'm not sure that this is a good idea.
Did you choose according to the numbers?
We both did.
Did you?
We both did. And then, you know, and against my better judgment, because...
But it's so seductive, Kay, isn't it? If you look at a low number, all the promises that come with the low number of calories.
Yeah.
But I think it's all empty promises. I think this is a huge
Well, I am
step
now
backwards.
confused because I
Yeah.
was for it, and then I had reservations.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know. We eat out more often now, don't we? So therefore, like when we were younger, say, like in our childhood, we didn't go out to restaurants
That's true.
every week.
Yeah.
And we didn't
Yeah.
do it as often as we
once in a
did.
blue moon.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And so now it's become so much more of a regular thing for
Yeah.
people to go out and eat. It's
Yeah.
had to become more about your everyday way of life. So it's not so I think for some people, they've grown up going out to eat a lot more, and maybe they haven't got the education that we had from when we were living at home and just ate what your mum put on the table. They are
Yeah.
now choosing at an earlier age, at 19, and they are choosing to go for things that they know won't make them maybe regret it. I think I've got a friend who was told she couldn't get pregnant unless she lost some weight. And that was a big deal for her. And we weren't of the same size, so we couldn't help it. It sort of falls on deaf ears, doesn't it, when you tell someone who hasn't got the same problem with you that you're going through something. So she would look at those menus really carefully because she knows it's a life or death thing for her. She has to choose carefully so that she can bring life into this world.
Yeah.
And I thought that was quite helpful because I couldn't help her as a friend. Because I would just say, well, go for the salad. She
Yeah.
might say, I don't want a salad. I want something a bit more
Filling.
fun. Yeah.
I must
me
say,
too.
I think now, on balance, I would say have it on a website, readily available on a website, that if your friend wants to go and find it, she should go and find it, and it should be there. Or there's loads of apps these days. But just having it straight up there for people who do struggle with food, whether that is undereating or overeating, I'm not convinced it'll help. What do you think, Leisha?
I reckon the waiters in every restaurant should come through with like, do you want a calories menu or no calories menu? So you don't get to see if you don't
Yeah.
want it. Because for me, it's like, I know someone that is very like, oh, I can't have that, and I can't drink tonight because then I'm going to have to go into the gym and that it gives me anxiety. But then I'm the opposite because I'm trying to put on weight. So I don't really ever, look at me. How can you question what? Look at me. Clothes are falling off me. But in general, like I don't ever look at what I'm eating. And I've got a fast metabolism. Shout out to my mom. She's got really good genes. And it's really just like whatever I want to eat, which is good.
But you're wanting to put on weight. I can almost hear you giving us what what people think about people that are smaller, which is, I can eat whatever I want. But actually, it gives you quite a lot of
because I actually
unhappiness.
sometimes it's like, oh, you lucky bugger, like you can, but really, I do want to put on weight. I actually do want to.
You don't feel particularly lucky.
No, I don't feel lucky. I feel like, and some people will be looking like, oh, you are still lucky. But honestly, guys, I do want to put on weight. And at the moment, I'm doing a weight gain smoothie. I'm putting all these. Now I know about calories because now I'm actually caring about putting on. And I heard somewhere that you have to eat more calories than you burn. So now I'm like all fascinated about, I need 1,300 calories here.
So would it help you to have it on menus for that reason?
Maybe, but then I'm being hypocritical because I just said I don't really look at it.
I think that proves our point that it really does depend on your circumstances, the individual, and if you've got the choice, then you can ask for it.
I am so against this.
Really?
I am so, having been someone for many years who was a victim, and I do call it a victim of calorie counting. I can still remember the calories of almost anything. You can ask me something, I'm going to know the calories of it. And I was driven 520 or 540 actually.
Shot of tequila.
But I try and keep that vague. But I would be making crazy decisions like, oh, this bag of cheesy Wotsits is less calories than half an avocado, so I'll have the cheesy Wotsits.
Yeah.
Now, it's about nutrient-dense food. The more dense that food is with nutrients, the less you have to eat, the more energised you are. I mean, people say to me, God, how do you have so much energy? It's because I really eat food that's going to just give me power. Now, you could look at a burger and it could be less calories than, say, a brown rice, I know, something else delicious, salmon, grilled salmon, broccoli, all of that. And you'll go, oh, do you know what? With 100 calories less, I'll go for that. That is not going to make you thinner than the food that's efficiently feeding you.
That happened yesterday. I was somewhere else, and again, the calories were all there, and there was a superfood salad, do this, full of brilliant things. And actually, we looked at it, whoa, it's more calories than something that was clearly not as healthy. For some reason, this one seemed to have more calories. And so is someone going to go for the less healthy thing
Yeah.
because the salad has
I
got more
spent 2
calories.
decades
You could better with
doing
your
that.
salad.
Do you know what I got to eventually? Obesity. That's where I got by counting
Yeah.
calories. Get you
I mean,
there,
underneath
'cause it leaves you
all, there-
hungry.
there is a debate still to have.
Yeah,
It's
no,
just
there is.
happened, hasn't it? It's just come
it
out.
has. But I mean, we must talk more at a later date about your position, Leisha, because it's so interesting to hear from you coming out from the other direction. Because I can feel you almost
Apologising.
having to make excuses
Yeah.
for saying, actually, I'm coming at this from the other perspective. And I know that lots of people are, and they get so fed up with everyone going, well, you're thin, you're lucky.
You're lucky, yeah.
You know, really shouldn't do
Never
it.
make assumptions about how people feel about their bodies because you just can never know.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
But we need to talk more about calories, of course, on the Easter weekend,
Yeah.
because we know what that means, particularly for kids. They're going to be totting up the number of Easter eggs that they get. Some kids apparently get as many as 10 Easter eggs these days. But for health reasons, should you limit your child to just the one egg? Well, where would you go on this one then, Nadia?
Well, the thing is, when we were kids, Easter was the most fantastic day of the year, and my kids also loved Easter. Although my mum made such a huge effort, the house would be transformed, the kitchen table would come down, and literally gasp. She used to blow the eggs out. You make a little pinhole and blow the egg out, so you've got an empty shell, and then she'd paint each one individually.
Oh.
We'd have lots of chocolate. We'd have these beautiful cardboard Easter eggs with little toys and things in, and the Easter egg hunt. And it was just absolutely magical. And we were allowed to have chocolate because my mum was very strict about food, doing all the right things. She made her own bread, she knitted her own muesli, the ice cream was even homemade. She told us any ice cream from a van was poisonous. And so everything was really good. We never had biscuits, we never had sweets, we never had anything like that in the house apart from Easter.
Yeah.
And she did everything right. But actually, in a way, I think my sister and I, we would really then binge out on sugar secretly because we never had it in the house.
Yeah.
So, and I would see my friends and I'd go around to their house and they'd have these big cookie jars of cookies and they'd just be playing and not even looking
Yeah,
at them.
I know.
I would have had to eat the whole thing.
Yeah, it's interesting. Does that restriction
I was
work?
going to say that
Yeah.
makes me think about. So I have the same philosophy about if you don't let your children have something for a while, they get so used to not having it, then hopefully you can give them some healthy habits. And I told Noah that, you know, he had gastric reflux as a baby, which he did. It was like just as
Just
everybody
extended
else.
it.
And I just told him as a result, he should never have fizzy drinks.
How long did you keep that going?
A good 10, 12 years, I think.
But you told him he had a medical condition that he couldn't
I just
stop
made him
drinks.
think that it won't be good for you. I told it in a different way.
He should doesn't trust you anymore. Look,
I
like
don't. I'm moving my chair by Nadia now. What's going on?
How many tablespoons of sugar have I prevented going
from
into his
having,
body?
exactly.
But like you said, when your mum said ice cream is poisonous, no one's jumping on Nadia for that, by the way. No, but the point is, he then discovered fizzy drinks and loves them and has them all the time, and now probably has gone too far the other way. So there is no, So
If we can
I got
teach
taught my
moderation,
lesson.
if we can teach moderation, people think moderation isn't sexy. It's fantastically sexy because you don't have to overthink and be obsessing all the time. But it's hard to
Yeah.
get there.
Yeah. Was that a big deal for you, Easter, Lisa?
Not really. I mean, my mum would give me like maybe one or two. Not loads. I wasn't
And
spoiled
did you
like
love
that.
that? Did you love those?
Yeah, I appreciated it, like it's chocolate. I was never like a fussy child. But I think nowadays in today's society, because social media is just massive now, and kids, let's say the parents say, just brought my kids 20 Easter eggs, and they post it up on Facebook, and all the Facebook mums are like, and all the kids at school, how many do you get? How many did you get? I got 10, I only got 1. Do you know what I mean? It could get to that point where it's like there's pressure for the kids to need to have more just so they look good for their
And you're
friends.
right, a lot of this posting the excesses.
Yes.
It's enormous pressure, not only on the children, but on the families as well. That's something got
Yeah.
by the same amount of eggs.
It doesn't make a great Insta post, doesn't it? I got a very moderate egg for my Easter.
But you know what? At the end of the day, it's just a business model. It's all a business model because it all involves spending cash and buying things from the people who make the Easter eggs. So it's like we've all just bought into it, haven't
You're
we?
such a cynic. But anyways, we need to crack on. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Still to come, Holly Willoughby has admitted she suffered from imposter syndrome in her early presenting career. So is it inevitable that we'll all feel that we're not good enough at some point in our lives? And as it is revealed that Harry and Meghan secretly jetted into the country to visit the Queen, how important is it to cherish visits to elderly relatives? Our thoughts after this. Welcome back. Still to come at 1:15.
Again, Sharma, I don't want to be rude about the performance. I'll focus on the positives. Sharma's a very nice name, isn't it? I'll tell you who did enjoy your performance, though, is my dad. For the last 50 years, he's been regaling us with tales of his life as a Himalayan mountaineer. Now we find...
He's known for his witty quips as the Chaser, the Cinnamon, but we'll be talking to Paul Sinnott about something a bit different today, his diagnosis with Parkinson's, including how it's completely changed his outlook on life. And later in the show, it is the latest dating show to take the world by storm, and it sees people issue an ultimatum to their partner, marry me or move on. So is the idea of marriage really as outdated as we think? Now, she's usually the picture of calm composure, of course, but fellow daytime presenter Holly Willoughby has revealed that she suffered from imposter syndrome during the early years of her presenting career. She said, I never really thought that I was good enough. I felt lucky that people liked me. I had massive imposter syndrome. And yes, I was underestimated, but more importantly, I underestimated myself. I find this whole thing about imposter syndrome really interesting in terms of what people mean by it. It's quite a recent term and now you hear it a lot. But do you relate to that in any way, Leisha?
I feel like I've always done music. I started doing music when I was 6 years old. So I kind of knew who I was from the very beginning. And I've been quite confident with that. But I think the moment I started to question myself was when my sister passed. I lost a lot of confidence and I didn't even know. It just kind of happened.
And 2 years ago now you lost your sister.
2 years ago, which it still feels kind of like 6 months. It's still, and it comes in waves, but I'm regaining my confidence back and stuff, but it still felt like I lost a part of me. And then, you got the people, the pressure of social media and the people that know who you are. So, when you releasing the next song or album or project, and it's just like, I'm still trying to get over grieving. But it has been years, but still people don't understand.
Did it almost feel like you felt like a stranger in your own life a bit?
I did. I honestly, I did not know who I was. It was so scary, and I was breaking down. I was praying and just asking God, what is actually happening to me?
Yeah.
I think I was going through a midlife crisis. That's literally how it felt. So I was up and down, but I am regaining my strength now. But I mean,
you said the word yourself. It's grief, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it does such strange things to us. I mean, in terms of imposter syndrome, what kind of worries me a little bit, but it seems quite a negative term, imposter syndrome, whereas I actually think it's quite a healthy thing in life to question yourself, and to think, am I good enough? Maybe that's not, when it goes to low self-esteem, that's not good. But I've always questioned myself. I've never thought I was the bee's knees. I've always, sort of tried
I think it's only when you're successful if that word ever even comes up. It's only successful people that tend to mention imposter syndrome, because that's when they feel like a fish out of water. I think there are better ways of saying. You're right. I don't particularly like the term imposter syndrome, because who are you meant to be if you're just imposing to be this person that you are right then? But I think with the ambitions people have, when you reach them, you then question, am I meant to be here? And I think some people of a certain age do look back and go, I never thought I was going to end up here, and therefore that's the imposter. So for me, I genuinely feel like an imposter because I was, I was 15, caught on the street. I know I've told this story plenty of times, but being spotted at a bus stop and being asked, do you want to be in a television show as an actor?
I still can't believe that story, to be honest.
It's incredible.
What's this story? Well, there's the story.
I don't know this story.
Please don't. My family will kill me for repeating it. But, okay, 15, at a bus stop, car pulls up, casting director from Brooks. I can't find an Asian Scouser, which was very rare in 1988, I have to say, but on telly. And so they just plonked me into this soap opera where I was an imposter. And that is genuinely an imposter, because I was just a schoolgirl. I had no ambitions to be I didn't want to be an actress, like you were saying. Music was in your blood and you knew from 6 years old. I didn't.
Again, we shouldn't use the word imposter because, okay, you were a young girl who got an amazing break, but you made it your own, you worked hard at it, you had the talent, you grew into it, and you've built a wonderful
now
career.
I'm not an imposter.
There's no imposter there.
But I suppose what that means is feeling like, can I live up to this incredibly good fortune or good luck or whatever you call it? Am I going to be able to live up to it?
Yeah.
That's really what imposter syndrome means.
Is that pressure for yourself or pressure from the outside world, your family,
It's
your
both,
friends. Like,
isn't
what
it?
is-
And I think there is healthy amounts of that. Like you say, Kay, it's like if you just were blithely going through, like what you were talking about with your music, that's different. That's a real organic confidence
Yeah.
because you're in it and you understand it. But if you're striving for something, like you said earlier, isn't it? Nobody starts being a TV presenter at 5 years old.
No.
It's often an odd route that you get to being a TV presenter, for example. So I spent years after being an actress as a TV presenter saying, when am I going to get kicked out?
Yeah.
You know, until I realised, well, actually, there's some parts of this that I've still got a lot of work to do on, but I've got something. here.
Yeah.
And that moment when you realise that, that's real maturity. Youngsters, if that's what you're feeling, that's one of the good things about getting older. You
Yeah.
go, oh, okay,
Yeah.
this is a process.
Yeah.
It's not all worked out at the beginning.
No, and actually, if I had the choice between someone who questioned themselves or someone who never questioned themselves and, you know, was just absolutely, I'm the bee's knees and I don't have to worry about it, that's the person that I would be wary of.
They're the
It's
ones you
not the
avoid in
person
the
who has
canteen, aren't they?
questions.
That's very key.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I've always envied those people because they just seem to think that it's all going to land on their feet, and often they are quite lucky.
Now, imagine dating someone like that, though.
Oh.
That's what you got to think about. How would they be in a relationship?
Have you got a story to tell us?
No, but I'm just saying.
It's a funny thing, though. The word imposter, again, suggests that everybody else knows what's going on apart from you. So it's almost like you've got to earn your stripes.
That's what I always say to my girls.
Yeah.
I says, everyone will look like they're totally confident, but they're all terrified.
Well, that's
Yeah.
the truth.
I pump that into their brains all the time.
Yeah,
So I wish
nobody
I'd
knows
known
what's
that when
going on, really, do they?
I felt like an imposter on this show when I first joined. It was like, what am I?
Did I? You think so? I'm the newest one here, babe.
So we have all gone through our own imposter syndrome.
Trying to look all.
Oh, God, I
and
hope we all
popular with my
managed to get
papers.
back after the break. You shuffling the papers,
Yeah,
yeah,
just to
that's
make
good.
sure
That
I
always looks good. Always looks good. Still
I've
to,
noticed you do that a few times. When I was first to Loose Women, I did a lot of that.
still to come, a reputation for being dirty and unsociable. No, I'm not talking about Nadia last weekend. I'm talking about rats. Apparently, we should all be keeping them as pets. Find out why when we come face to face with some later in the show. And we're talking about Harry and Meghan's secret visit to the Queen. Do you cherish visits to your elderly relatives enough? Well, we'll see you straight after the break. Welcome back. Coming up, a couple of pet dilemmas for you. Would you let your dog lick your face? And would you keep a rat as a pet? And Chaser Paulson, you're all right there, Sinatra, you're all right. Chaser Paulson is here at 1:15, raising awareness of Parkinson's as he reflects on his own diagnosis almost 4 years ago, including how his husband Oliver's unwavering support has got him through. It is competition time now, though, and we have an excellent prize package coming up for grabs. And honestly, it really is. It's cracking.
Oh, you're on fire. Fire.
You could win a £90,000, win £90,000 and a brand new Mercedes. Woo! You went into that really well, and you're a woo virgin. Well done.
You didn't know we were doing a word.
Yeah.
You are such an... Oh, we did we not do one?
We did. We did a woo.
on,
I did a
Oh, great. Let's stick with Lady Lisher on the woos. Here's Craig Doyle with everything you need to know.
I've never been...
Hello, and you're very welcome to the beautiful county of Wicklow. Stunning views, rolling hills, pristine beaches. What more could you want? Well, I've got more as it happens. A two-part prize worth over £130,000, eh? Now you're listening, aren't you? It starts with this eco-friendly Mercedes-Benz worth over £47,000. It's fully electric and comes in this mountain grey gloss colour. So not only are we giving you the new Merc, but £90,000 in tax-free cash. Just imagine all the things you could do with that money. The possibilities are endless. So what have we got? Well, we got two prizes, the car and the cash, with just one entry. That's all it takes to be a winner. This is how you get involved. For your chance to win, text WIN to 81119. Text costs £2 plus one standard network rate message. Go to the website. Entries cost £2. Call 09068 78 119. Calls cost £2 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and phone number to DY15, PO Box 7558, Derby, DE1 0NQ. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close on Friday, the 13th of May at 3 p.m. The best of luck to you.
Now, they were controversially absent from Prince Philip's memorial last month, but Harry and Meghan were spotted secretly visiting the Queen yesterday. Well, secret from us, of course, probably not the Queen. It's actually Meghan's first visit back to the UK since they left the farm in 2020, and the Queen, we know, is in her 90s. So it got us thinking about the importance of visiting elderly relatives and whether we cherish these kind of visits enough. What do you think?
You know, it's funny, it's just made me think this, that I made a real mistake years ago with my girls. And I was always saying this thing, you know, when I'm older, you know, you won't have to look after me and you won't have to visit me. And then eventually my daughter said to me, because my parents, I'm so lucky, my parents live next door and I see them all the time and I absolutely cherish seeing them. They're great company. And my daughter said, why do you keep saying that? It's like, it makes me feel sad because, like, we want to see you and we want, and we like to see Betty and Teddy, you know, mine. And I thought, what am I doing here? I'm trying to stop what is the natural process.
Yeah.
This is what happens.
So what? You would say to them, don't think you have to come and visit me when I'm old. You would
because I love old people. Why would I say that?
I know,
You're so
but
prejudiced.
Why would you say
I do
that?
get it though, because like when my mum and dad were in good health, my mum would say
Yeah.
just stuff like that, oh, bung me in a care home
Yeah.
and give me a pill, you know, all that
Yeah.
kind of. But you know, it's just, you know, when you feel, you know, you don't feel immortal, but when you feel invincible, you just say that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
That
actually,
thinking.
when it got to a point that they were vulnerable, that was clearly just, I remember thinking, God, all that chat all these years ago, it meant nothing.
Yeah.
Because actually, when people dear to you are vulnerable, there's no discussion about that, really, is it? You love them, you want to be with them, you want, you know, you want to spend time.
I think
with them
when you know somebody's ill, especially, you will go out of your way. But what about that grey area when there's nothing wrong with them and they live?
Yeah.
I mean, I constantly live in long distance relationships with all my relatives, so and I miss
yeah,
them
that's true.
at different points of the year. My sister, my mum, my dad, all of them live around the country. But my immediate real family live in India, and they're all so far away. So when my mum lets me know that her auntie is, you know, she's 90 something and she's in hospital, I do feel this sort of gap between. There's nothing I can really do. There's a text, there's a phone call. FaceTime's not really good on them. You know, you need to literally put your hand on someone's hand sometimes, don't you? So I think it's becoming more important as you hear about people getting ill. But I think the big question is what you do about the people who aren't in that situation. Do you still go out of your way to try and make time for them?
Definitely.
To cherish people anyway, because we never know when we could lose somebody. So, you know, maybe that's what we have to try and think of. Like our friend Matty was saying this morning, wasn't he? That every time he went to see his nan in the care home, he would thought, is this the last time I'm going to see you? And there's something in that.
To age. I mean,
yeah, we do. And I feel like in general, you should always see the people that you love and care about. Doesn't matter what age, because you never know. Look at today's society. Everyone is just, it's inevitable.
I think it's about being mindful of that, not just taking it for granted. Because I had a friend who passed away, at 2018, and we knew when he got to hospital it was bad, and it was probably likely that he wouldn't make it to the end of the day. And I remember making that phone call and thinking, what are all the things I wish I could say to him? And I got to say them, and I was very lucky that I did. And I did feel this wonderful connection of closure, of being able to say to somebody before they go, you were a game changer in my life, you were amazing, I want you to know before you leave this world what you meant to me. And I think that's made me more mindful now of anyone and everyone being, you know.
It's funny, I mean, you know, I've thought about that a lot, and it's lovely that you had that experience, but I sometimes think there can be a focus, and I'd be interested in what you think of this, Nisha, a focus on those final moments, because actually some people aren't. I wasn't there for the my mum died 20 minutes after I left the hospital. You know, my brother and I had been there on rotation, and he was there, I left to do, and you know, and immediately you go, I wasn't there, but you know, it's not a competition. And what I absolutely had was the complete knowledge that you know, I had loved her as much as I could. She loved me as much as she could. And so I think you've got to think about the whole relationship. In fact, we've lost a really dear friend in the last couple of weeks. And sadly, I'm not going to be at the funeral, which I'm very sad about because she was a wonderful, wonderful woman. But the relationship that we had was a wonderful one. And that's what I'm going to focus on rather than that final bit. How do you feel about that?
100%. I feel it's not about what you trying to do at the end of the journey. It's what you've done throughout the life of that person that's about to pass. That's what's going to matter the most. It's not about who sees them last, you know. And I feel like with my sister as well, I did feel guilty because I wasn't going to see her as much as I could because I was contracted with all these TV shows. I had so much stuff and based in London and stuff. But it's about the communication we had. I know that she would never want me to be guilty of not being there every single day, day in, day out. You know what I mean? She knew I loved her and that's all that matters. So I feel like, yeah, closure is a good word to say because you don't ever want to go through life like saying, oh, I could have done
But
more.
we don't. I think we just don't, and I think very much in our culture as well, we don't quite say enough how much we feel about people. Like my family, my mum, dad, we're not the sort of people that say, "I love you, I love you, I love you." My mum's very sort of old-fashioned; she would never say it. But oh, sorry, it just caught me there. But you know, they are much older now, and I do find myself making a point of saying, "Oh, I really love you, and you did really well," and I do say that because, like you say, where does it come?
Yeah.
What you know, if it comes at the end or if it comes at the beginning, as long as you feel you've said what you wanted to say, then that's great.
Whether it's along the way or at the end.
No, it's only
But it also makes you think, I wonder
for
whether
them in that minute.
I wonder whether Harry and his grandmother will have that chat.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to think of them sitting there saying, let's park all the media and let me just say, grandson to grandmother, what I would like to say maybe if I don't see you again soon.
You'd really hope so.
You'd
wouldn't
like to
you?
But even
think
as
so, wouldn't
friends,
you?
do we say often enough, "Oh, I love you"? Actually, I sent you a lovely message on New Year's Eve, but I don't think you ever got it.
New Year's Eve.
Like, no,
Did you?
she never
Lost the
replied.
traffic.
Wait a minute, I'll
We're
check
not
my
spending
phone.
enough time together. Because I suddenly thought, do I say often enough to my friends as well? I mean, they know I love, but do I say
Yeah.
often enough that I love them? And I think that can be, it's
Yeah.
across the board.
We need to be more kind and hopefully people that are watching this will give
Yeah.
that cheeky text.
Well, I think we've got lots of messages.
We've got a couple
We
of
have.
messages here. We've got one here from Debbie who says, my grandma had to move to a care home a couple of weeks before the first lockdown. I spoke to her frequently and visited her as soon as the rules were relaxed. But sadly, she passed away just after Christmas 2020. And I would give anything to have that time back. So I think lockdown has also really compounded a lot of
really
people's thoughts
has.
on this.
Yeah.
And Hayley says, family is important regardless of age. It's sad that the only time some families visit their elderly relatives is at the end to ease their conscience. Don't wait for the end. Nobody is too busy to make time for people we love.
Yeah. Right, coming up next.
Got not magical
I
votes.
can't believe I got that wrong. It's the sort of thing that every quiz is meant to know, isn't it? The nicknames of West African berries.
Chaser Paul Sinha will be here talking about his life-changing diagnosis with Parkinson's and how it's taught him to seize the day. And they say the younger generation have no interest in it, but is marriage really as outdated as we think? We'll see after this.
On Tuesday, lovely jubbly. Only Fools and Horses stars Chesapeake Jones and Gwyneth Strong join Loose Women, remembering life with the Trotters and revealing what brings them back together after 15 years apart. That's Tessa and Gwyneth on Tuesday from 12:30.
Welcome back to your Friday Loose Women, and it's a very good one indeed. Alongside me, Kay Adams, it's Sinetra Sarkar, guest Loose Women Lady Leisha, and Nadia Sawala. Coming up, the RSPCA are on a mission to change the reputation of rats. Apparently, they're incredibly smart and sociable, and they make great pets. We're going to be finding out for ourselves as we meet a couple later. And speaking of pets, we're asking, would you or do you let your dog lick your face? Now, as the Chase's cinnamon, Paul Sinha, has become known for his withering put-downs and encyclopedic knowledge. But today he joins us to mark Parkinson's Awareness Week, including how his own diagnosis has changed his whole outlook on life. Please welcome Paul Sinha.
Hi,
Paul, how are you?
Nice to have you here.
Oh, I'm loving the Hawaiian shirt look
So
here,
do
Paul.
I.
Oh, it's not Hawaiian. It's a posh shop in my neighbourhood. It's not
Oh, no,
Hawaiian.
I'm a terrible
That's all right.
terrible gaff. Well, I like it, is what I was saying.
I like your Indonesian outfit as well.
The other big
Absolutely lovely.
fancy dress shop.
Listen, you can't live in a posh neighbourhood because I believe you live near her and she doesn't live in a posh neighbourhood.
We're very posh,
we
aren't
actually
we,
live
Paul?
on the same road.
On the same road. I can't believe I've never bumped into you.
Well, we live in different parts of the main road. And the reason you've never bumped into me is because we're responsible for the noise complaints that we've made coming from your house on numerous occasions.
That'd be why.
There's been many.
There's clearly the posh end of the road and the not so posh end.
Clearly.
And you've got a connection as well.
I've got,
you know?
well, we found out we had a connection in like 15 minutes before we came on.
Well, we're
air.
both Bengalis, and when you made your name on Brookside, my sister said that we used to go to the same religious festival in Liverpool. We're not from Liverpool. We used to go to visit our friends in Liverpool.
Oh, and we all
In the
hung-
mid-'80s,
yeah.
Liverpool Pudger.
Exactly, and all the adults were upstairs and all the kids were downstairs.
What's
Yeah.
a
we,
butcher? What is
Pudger is like a festival, isn't it?
Devoted to a particular god or goddess.
Oh, love.
And it
And
was
you
all about,
partied together.
it was all about food and drink and,
Yeah.
and watching sports.
Food and drink, and less of the food. Yeah.
Well, listen, it's lovely to have a catch-up. Alicia and I are feeling really left out here, but I mean, that's all right. I mean, it's Parkinson's Awareness Week
Yes.
this week, Paul. Can I ask how you are?
I'm fine, to be honest with you. It's I was diagnosed in 2019, which was a bit of a shock to the system, having spent 2 years with a troublesome right shoulder. But to be perfectly honest with you, COVID has been more part of my life than Parkinson's. But Parkinson's is quite a slow process compared to a global pandemic. And so I've had more worries with COVID than Parkinson's because I'm not quite where I was 2 years ago for sure, but I'm still fighting fit.
Well, what was the link with the shoulder? I mean, was that linked to the Parkinson's?
Well, apparently, please don't panic if you've got a frozen shoulder. By the way.
No.
Apparently, a frozen
And you are a
shoulder-
doctor, so you can say that with authority.
Apparently, a frozen shoulder is a relatively common presentation of Parkinson's disease, but for a year and a half, I only saw orthopedic specialists, not neurological specialists.
I had a friend who had exactly the same situation. She had a-
Again,
she had-
please don't
No,
panic if you have.
it's not, because I know
Yeah.
my grandmother
Yeah.
had Parkinson's as well, and her shoulders were fine. But as it's Awareness Week, because you didn't pick up on that. How is there any sort of clues for people that might be struggling and wondering if you're a family member wondering if it could be Parkinson's?
In general terms, if you have anything that you're worried about, the NHS is still one of the greatest things that we have.
Yeah.
And it's there for you, and you've paid your taxes to use it. Go and see your GP.
Yeah.
If you're worried about any aspect of your health, go and seek help. Don't sit on the problem that I did for a few months. Go and seek help, because Parkinson's presents in all sorts of different ways. And
Yeah.
one of the things that we want to make people aware of is that everybody's journey is different.
Yeah.
Everybody, when they hear the word Parkinson's, thinks of the famous people that have
Yes.
Parkinson's.
Yeah.
And they think of the tremor. Well, these are my hands. As you can see, there's a mild tremor on one side and virtually no tremor on the other side. It's not the presenting complication in a lot of people's cases.
And how does that affect, say, your relationship? Because everybody's journey is different, like you say, and not everybody has a partner. Some people do. And did your partner pick up on you having something had changed within you, or was he absolutely unaware?
Well, to be fair, my husband Oliver is quite a calm and pragmatic. Oh, hello, quite a calm and pragmatic person.
And good
Right.
looking.
Well, there you go. It's all relative, isn't it? And if we turned up to our house and found it had burned down, he'd be just like, "Well, I hope we've got home insurance to sort this out."
Wow, cool as a
He
cucumber.
doesn't panic about things, and he hadn't really picked out anything because everybody was concentrating on the frozen shoulder.
Right.
But since the medication, everything's become clearer that I did have a relatively textbook presentation.
Really?
And I had started to limp by the time that the diagnosis was made. But it actually took a physiotherapist to work out that something might be wrong and recommend that I see a specialist.
But so your husband Oliver's very pragmatic, but he has been a great support to you, hasn't he?
He has, there's no doubt about that. And right now, as we speak, he's rustling together a beef biryani, I believe, waiting for me when I return. But yeah, he's been great. And
Are you a romantic man?
I don't think romantic is quite the word.
Shirt's quite romantic.
Well, thank you very much.
Well, you should see the lighting. I'm now looking at the lighting of the suit. It's even better.
Well, I'm not allowed to advertise on ITV, but it's the poshest shop in the Crystal Palace area.
Oh, I know it.
You know it, yeah. You know very well, I imagine. But, I'm not a hugely romantic person.
Because
I
you
think-
proposed the same year that you had the
Yeah,
diagnosis.
I would never thought I was going to get married. I know you're having a discussion about marriage
Yeah.
later on.
Yeah.
Oh, hello. Hello, everybody.
Oh, look at your wedding.
Is that your wedding?
Yeah, that's
Aw.
my three best men and his three best men, so to speak,
Oh.
on his right. Oh, what a lovely photo that is.
Oh, that
so,
is.
so many happy memories. And I just got drunk at Christmas and realised I had a drunken epiphany that I wanted him to be officially part of the family rather than unofficially part of the family. That was the main driving force. I don't think our relationship is particularly different just because we're married, but officially it is, and that's fine.
Did that feel good then?
It
that
felt
was
great,
official?
and it was an amazing. And also, you want to have your day in the sun that's devoted to you.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I had it just before the pandemic. It was my 50th birthday. The following year was done entirely on Zoom, so it was great to get a wedding in person.
And he's a quizzer like you, isn't he?
If anything, he might be slightly better than me. Yeah.
Oh, that's love if you're prepared to admit that, Paul.
Or
Is he as funny as you, though? Is he as...
not remotely, no. if he's sitting there looking for my job, you can back off now.
So just sit at home and quiz each
Do you know what? During the pandemic, pretty much that's all we did. But now that life is returning to some semblance of normal, we're branching out into other social activities.
Aw,
other. Would he ever come on the show?
Oh, well, he can't.
Oh, yes, of course.
Oh,
Of course.
Don't break
Well, no,
ITV
you can't.
rules. No.
Oh, yeah, it would be ITV rules. Because didn't you have a fracas with him on the show?
Who?
With Paul when you
Fracas
went
was a
on?
bit strong. That's the bit we
No.
argued.
Didn't you?
I don't think so.
Oh,
I think
said
you've
you
done
You're
a
trying to
Christmas
give them history that they haven't got.
something terrible has happened between
right?
The day
And did he
expected.
swipe left?
Chase fans in fury as Kay and Cinnamon take massive swipes at each other.
I thought something terrible had happened between you.
Oh, I lost. You know, pretty simple.
But in Parkinson's Awareness Week, what we really want to get out there is that people present in different ways and don't stick with the stereotypes of what we have. The most difficult thing for me today was actually putting this shirt on because I had to wake up, find the shirt, and then wake Oliver up and say, "Put the shirt on for me." And everything that you take for granted takes a lot. I mean, you can see that I'm sitting here with this right hand not moving much. That's its default state, and everything that you usually take for granted just takes longer to do.
Yeah.
That's so
But then-
honest of you. Honestly, really,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
it's
But
really
then the
refreshing.
drugs are so good, aren't they? And can help so much now.
Well, they
with
help slow
Parkinson's as
progress,
well.
but you get a lot of side effects on the
Yeah.
drugs, well, mostly mood swings, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Right.
And people need to be aware that
Yeah.
just be a little bit more sensitive. That's why I did the disability campaign with ITV to raise awareness of the sort of things that people might take for granted. Like if you come up to me and ask me for a selfie, I will give you that selfie. But if you come up to me 10 minutes later and go, "I didn't really like that photo, can we have another one?" I might be a little bit irritated.
Okay. All right, let
get
him
that,
off, folks.
Yeah,
Let
okay.
him off.
All right. Well, listen, Paul, thanks very much
Thank you
for
so
coming with your
much.
beautiful shirt and your beautiful suit. I mean, I'm
And your
sorry I
suit,
called
yeah.
it a Hawaiian
And
shirt.
I'm trying to put a positive thing on it. And I think, cherish life and cherish.
Exactly.
When you mentioned the parents before, cherish every moment you have with your elderly relatives because their washing machine is far faster than yours. And
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And if you want more information about anything that Paul has been discussing today, please head to our website. Details are on the screen now. Next up, we'll be pondering about pets, asking, would you and do you let your dog lick your face? And rat fans. No, sorry, that was a bad liver puppy.
Terrible Liverpool.
Sorry, we don't have Robin Rat in the studio. A Brummy one's good though, come on.
It sounds like Dudley.
All right, but we do have rats. Don't worry, we've invited them in. That wasn't bad.
That's Dudley, babe.
Thank you. The RSPCA, my Scottish accent is fabulous. The RSPCA says they're woefully misunderstood, but would you have one as a pet? We'll be meeting a couple
way.
right after this break. Welcome back to your final slice of your Good Friday Loose Women. Lots more still to come, including our debate on whether marriage is really an outdated notion. But calling all dog lovers, this is an important question for you, and I have to say so many people have got in touch on this one. Would you and do you let your dog lick your face? Well, shocking info. Wait for it. Dogs who lick their own backside smear superbugs hidden in feces across their own faces. Well, you've got two dogs, Nadia. So
Oh, do you know what? Though I've got a very untidy house. It's a clean house, but it's an untidy house because I love being untidy. people always assume I'd be the person that would let my dogs lick my face. Not at all. I'm really fastidious about it. I don't. I mean, the dogs, you know, they're proper dogs. They're not pooches. They're out in the garden. They are licking their bums. They eat raw food. You know, all of this sort of stuff. And I just think it just does instinctively. It just doesn't feel right. And with this superbug thing that you can get.
Yeah, I mean, well, surprisingly, I don't either. And I mean, I know I'm gaga about my dog, and yes, my dog sleeps in bed with me. Oh, isn't she gorgeous? I haven't seen her for ages.
Sleeps in bed or on bed?
Oh, is that an important distinction?
Yeah, of course.
Why?
Because
if they're in your sheets,
I want to be able to agree. Or
oh no, what's the right answer? Well, she sleeps on the bed.
Okay.
Because that's what she prefers, because she gets too warm. If
You'd
she,
have her in the bed.
If she asked me to sleep in the bed, would I let her?
You'd have
when
her
I was
in
a
your
kid.
sleeping bag with you.
When I was a kid, I did absolutely. My dog Chico, the wonder dog, slept in bed with me with her head in the pillow. Is that a bad thing?
Well, I'm so scared of dogs. I'm a real, I mean, I feel bad. I hate every time people talk to me about animals. I go, I'm not very good with animals.
Yeah.
So I just can't, this is alien, this whole conversation.
Oh, is it?
Would you lick your dog's face?
No.
Oh, right. So it's okay for the dog to lick your
that's a
face,
very good
but you wouldn't lick
question.
your dog's face.
But it's all furry. Why would you lick a dog's face?
Well, why would a dog lick a non-furry face? We're not
Because
supposed to
it
lick
looks
each mouth.
lickable. It looks lickable. We smell nice. They might, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, I'm actually a cat lover over a dog lover.
All right.
And with my cat, see my cat there, oh, cutie.
Oh.
My little bobber, she used to lie in bed with me.
In or
Little
on?
baby.
It's important.
Inside.
Inside?
Nanny
Yeah.
Thelma's cat used to share her toast and marmalade with her. She'd lick off the toast and marmalade, the cat. And she'd go, Thelma!
The cat?
Yes, she could speak.
You're having hallucinations
I'm not.
now. I tell you what, this has caused quite the stir on social media. Loads of you getting in touch with snaps of you kissing your pooch. There's Susan there. She says she always gets a kiss from her grand fur baby, Tilly. There you
Beautiful
go. There they
photo.
are together.
Yeah, it is.
Anthony says, of course I'd allow my doggie to lick my face. They
Oh.
are family. I don't care if it's not hygienic. I sadly lost my dear Jasmine last year. Oh, God, the heartbreaking. And Nicola says, here is our daddy tucked up with our fur babies. That's
How
like you.
cute is that? Look at me.
This is Caroline says, our Romanian rescue pup Bailey is super affectionate. This was supposed to be a selfie of us, but he
look
came
at
in
the
for a
tongue.
kiss.
The tongue is stuck
tongue
on the
is
face.
out.
Look, it's an extra space. It's fantastic. Jen says, forget about me. My dogs kiss each other. Oh, look, we sausage
Oh,
dogs.
see, that's cute.
That's cute. You're all right with that. Well, and then here's a lovely video of Mandy and her dog. Wait for this.
Oh, no, no.
Oh, no.
No,
No. I love you.
not for me, Mandy, sorry.
Oh, no? No, okay. Well, Sinatra, listen, if you're struggling with that one, wait for the next bit. Move over dogs. Apparently, man's new best friend is a rat.
No.
Yep.
No.
Mhm.
Well,
That's
that
a-
looks a nice rat, that one.
Yeah, that's after the RSPCA said rats were, and I quote, sociable, intelligent, and friendly. Oh, really? We're missing a seat 4 on Monday. They've been cruelly misunderstood for years. So,
No.
well, there's no point in
Don't
asking
even
you,
ask
is
me.
there?
No, I
Don't
wouldn't.
even ask you.
Pet, a rat. I mean, apart from like cartoons, which show fun rats, I've always thought of rats as being they go for your neck and they kill you. That's it.
That's what
they
I
go
think.
for your neck and they kill you.
I
End
always
of.
think of rats and squirrels. I'm terrified of squirrels because I always think they're going to go for my neck.
But Maddie used to have tons of guinea pigs. I mean, it's
Yeah,
the
but they
same
don't
thing.
leap. Rats leap.
Yeah.
Are you the same?
I don't like rats. I liked Ratatouille though. I like watching that film.
Oh, I didn't
Yeah.
for the rats.
I loved it, but I feel like, how can it be a pet? How can it be a pet? What does it do
Well,
that it's going
let's
to be
find
petty?
out the answer.
Yeah. Oh, God, here we
Let's find
go.
out the answer because
Oh,
here we
no.
go. We have some of these little creatures.
Oh, I'm sorry if you
Here
keep saying horrible things about
with
your
us.
rats.
You don't have to
because you
stop
probably
here.
love
You
your
can
rats.
move on. Oh, no.
Hi, Randall.
Hey.
So, I mean, do you always you'll be used to this reaction from people, won't you? Oh, right. Yeah.
Educate
Yeah.
us then. Are they likely to jump out there and go for my neck?
No,
Oh,
they're
stop
absolutely
it. Now
fine.
you've said that.
They're very comfortable within the container. They'll happily stay in there. There's lots of toys for stimulation because, as people aren't aware, rats are actually incredibly intelligent.
Yeah.
They're also
Are they
very
the same
hygienic.
as the ones that you would get in the street?
Yes. Yes, it's Rattus norvegicus, which is the common brown rat. However, these do differ as they've been domesticated over generations of breeding.
Right. Okay.
So you wouldn't, if you saw a rat out on the street, you shouldn't pick up a rat out.
It's
Would that one
Ratatouille.
go for your neck?
The grey one's
wouldn't.
Do
Ratatouille.
you want to hold Ratatouille?
I don't want. Can I?
Oh, go on.
Oh,
no, at least
no,
she's
no,
going
no,
for
no,
it.
no,
Come
no,
on.
no,
this again in my life.
Randall,
Do it.
Do
it.
This is a spontaneous spontaneous moment here.
Oh, I feel like he's getting. I mean,
He's not particularly
he doesn't
open
want to
to
be
being
it
held.
sounds like he's saying, "I'm Ratatouille. Do you know I'm royalty? No, don't touch me." Well, he's so cute.
So that obviously Ratatouille wasn't very happy there.
No.
Right. Okay.
Ratatouille.
So we don't want to put. We were gonna. I am not that fond of rats, I don't think, but I was quite keen to hold one just because I thought, but I don't want to distress the animals, and Ratatouille didn't look particularly
Yeah, no,
happy
they've been
there.
sitting in the cage for an hour
Well-
or so, and it's not their normal environment.
Yeah,
You said
so
they're
I think we
intelligent,
will
right? So they
respect-
probably know that they're on a TV show
Oh, they
right
know.
now.
They're very aware that this is not their natural habitat.
Yeah.
They're sort of somewhere a little bit
Aw.
new,
Yeah.
so hence they're a little bit on
You look
edge.
intrigued,
I
Leisha.
feel like I want
I feel
one,
like
kind
Leisha's
of.
gonna
Do
get
you?
a
Because
pet
I
rat.
used to have hamsters growing up.
Mm.
I loved hamsters. I used to let, this might sound a bit weird, but I used to let him crawl in my hair. And my hamster called Jackie used to go up the stairs. We used to teach him to go up the stairs and back down the stairs. Yeah, Jackie. Oh, I miss Jackie. But it's reminding me of like my childhood. Hello.
Well, listen, Randall, thank you
Oh,
very
gosh.
much for bringing the rats in. And there you go, Leisha.
I'm
this might
sorry
be a
we
new
weren't
chapter
more
in your life.
welcoming.
It's an
Nadia and
extra.
I at the end of the studio watching from a distance.
I know, you're still there. I thought you were on the train home. Now, you won't be ratty if you win a competition. It's an extra special prize. How do you fancy boosting your bank balance by £90,000? Craig Doyle has all the details of how you can win all that money, as well as a brand new Mercedes.
Good morning, all. I'm Fulcher from the beautiful Powerscourt estate here in County Wicklow. Now, I only live around the corner, and I'm not saying I moved here because there's a distillery on my doorstep, but I'm not saying I didn't. I'm here to give you the chance to win £90,000 in tax-free cash and a brand new Mercedes-Benz. It's worth £47,000 and it's all electric, very eco-friendly. And staying with that, and let's just park the car for a minute and get rid of the car keys because we're talking whiskey now, right? This is Powerscourt Distillery and it's all very local. The water comes from local streams, the barley comes from fields, and locals like myself are very good at drinking it. What you got?
Well, so we really want to experience Irish food and Irish whiskey together.
Okay, here we go.
Happy? First time seeing Craig quiet.
Nice combo, much like cash in a car. There's a winner for every competition at ITV. Best of luck, Slunch. For your chance to win, text WIN to 81119. Text costs £2 plus one standard network rate message. Go to the website. Entries cost £2. Call 09068 78 119. Calls cost £2 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and phone number to DY15, PO Box 7558, Derby, DE1 0NQ. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines closed on Friday, the 13th of May at 3 p.m. The best of luck to you.
Yep, in the 90 seconds that you've been away, Lady Leisha has had an epiphany. She wants a rat, don't you?
Oh, you really fell in love with the rats.
I want a gerbil.
Not meant to say.
Right, it is the latest dating show that's got us hooked. It's called The Ultimatum, Marry or Move On. It focuses on long-term couples who've come to a pivotal moment in the relationship in which one member issues, you guessed it, an ultimatum.
You're here because someone in your relationship has issued an ultimatum.
You're not sure you want to marry your current partner. The risk is that they're going to find someone else who is.
I think it's natural to wonder what it would be like to be in a different relationship.
You'll each choose a new partner.
You'll move in together in a trial marriage.
There you go. Strangely enough, we watched that on holiday, didn't we? We did, yeah, I know. Good idea to give an ultimatum?
I don't know. I don't think I want to be in a relationship where one person feels so strongly about something that I don't. If you're dubious, Should you be even thinking about it? So, I don't know, they look very young and very attractive, all of them, don't they?
They were. I mean, it's a weird kind of old concept that these things all sort of are now. I think what struck us about it, though, because they were in their early 20s, that marriage is still such a big thing. Because for me, who's never married despite having 2 kids, I kind of thought younger generations were getting a bit more relaxed about marriage.
I thought so too.
I mean, is it a big thing for you?
Marriage it's never been a thing for me. I grew up as a tomboy, so it was never in my thoughts. But saying that, when I was in school, all my friends around me were like, oh, I know what dress I'm going to have. I know what music I'm going to have at my wedding. It's going to be this, it's going to be this colour. I just be thinking, what on earth? Like, you're 12 years old. How do you... it's unreal. So for me, it's never been a thing. But for some women, it's actually like, do it all. I've got to do that. I've got to have a kid at 25. Yeah, there's like an age limit to doing things. Otherwise, you're too old to get married or you're too old to have kids, and it shouldn't be like that.
Do you think it is a female thing? I wonder if any little boys.
That's why I'm glad that in the show
night.
there are some of the men are giving ultimatums as well.
On the show.
Yeah.
What would you have done if Ian had put an ultimatum to you, given you've been married not married for so long?
I'd probably have fainted, to be honest. I mean, well, just because I actually find it a really strange concept that you will have like an adult couple who have gone out with each other, live with each other, maybe even have kids together for years and years and years. And then it is usually the woman will be saying, he still hasn't popped the question, or I'm waiting for him to pop the question. I'm thinking, what, do you talk? I mean, surely this should be part of the conversation.
There's a lot of pressure on women from friends if he's asked the question or not. I remember that feeling of thinking, everyone keeps asking me. And when I tell them how happy I am, the next thing is, so do you think he's going to ask you to marry him?
I really hate that. I just don't see why you have to wait as a woman. Ask the question yourself.
Yeah.
This is
But my girls, I've got 2 very feminist, very funky, cool girls. And
funky
when I
and
say
cool, you've just said words that are very unfunky and uncool.
I say trendy and groovy as well.
but when I say that to them, they are horrified at the very idea that they would ever ask anyone to marry them. It would definitely be a case that somebody would ask them.
Right. Well,
you don't ask someone out; they ask you out.
I actually put up a picture on my Instagram, just joking about, and I proposed to like someone I knew. Like I pretended I was like, I've just popped the question. And there were so many women in the comments saying, oh no, that's not a woman's job. A man should do it. Oh,
really?
Yeah, and it's like, what? Why is that though? That's another
because
thing.
We're supposed to be waiting shyly for somebody to choose us and make us feel whole again.
Not anymore.
I would love to get down on one knee and be like, will you marry me, sir? Like I want to be that person. Do you know what I mean?
Well, maybe
this is me.
No, absolutely. But
maybe
to
I'm
actually have some
freak.
ownership over the situation, I would certainly God, you know what? My head says one thing and my heart says another, because I totally agree with you. But I guess I'm a product of my conditioning as well.
I don't know what you
Could
mean.
I actually do it?
Is it your head
well,
or
no,
your
I
heart?
agree with Leisha. I mean, I think for women to be sort of waiting around to be asked is ridiculous. Absolutely, you should take ownership of the
I think we all
situation if you
feel
want
like
to
that,
ask. But because I'm the age I am, I have grown up with that feeling that women don't ask.
I'm just trying to break down the barriers of, this. I'm just trying to break down the ordinary, the traditional things. I want to do things differently.
But maybe a show like this is quite good for some people, because once you've made the decision and you know that's not going to happen, you just move on and find what you need, and maybe they're not going to waste years.
That's what we hope for Daniel and Dale, because Daniel and Dale are getting married this weekend. Hopefully, our 3rd time lucky because of the pandemic. It was delayed. So huge good luck and congratulations. And you're both rather fabulous, Matty says.
That is fabulous. Congratulations. How nice to end Good Monday on a lovely positive note like that.
Friday.
And you're going to get good weather. What did I say?
Good Monday.
Listen, Monday's going to be spectacular. We are back live on Good Monday at the usual time, when we're joined by Jay Aston from The Fizz, and the rest of the week, Nicola Sturgeon, Craig Revel Horwood, and an Only Fools and Horses reunion. You plonkers, I'm the plonker. Until then, have a great weekend and a very happy Easter.